the Recoup check-in. I am Sid. This is Sweets, and we're going to go over what was shipped over the last week and what we're going to ship next week. Sweets, is there anywhere you want to? Oh, let's kick it off with how you feeling. One word. How you feeling? What do you need? One sentence, one word.
I'm feeling worried.
Ooh.
And I need patience. I need more time to finish this week's goals. How about you?
I am feeling content. I need some time to think. I've been so off grid and I didn't really think about anything like intentionally. So now I'm getting back into it and like getting overloaded on thoughts. Fun.
Switching from vacation mode back to work mode has been a theme that has been hard for the people in my life. I've been finding a lot of people that are coming off of vacation mode are like, work is a thing and it's totally different energy.
Yep. Why are you feeling worried?
The rain's been stressing out my cats. Middle of the night, rained last night, and I hear them crying, so it wakes me up, and I go try to calm them down. They're getting mad at each other.
Are they scared? They're scared of the rain?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's the second time this week that it's happened, and it messes with my sleep, and I wake up in the morning, and they've got cuts on them. And so I don't know if they're fighting with each other or if there's a cat that's coming in from the street, but the worriness is not related to work, but the interruption to sleep, if continued, will probably impact work. So current thought is the next time that it rains, I'm going to try to take them and put them inside of their carriers. That way they're in a secure place. No other cats can attack them. It's a place that they naturally go to when they feel scared. And it's the only place that I can shut a door, because I guess I could put them in the bathroom, but there's no doors anywhere in this. Everything's very free flowing.
So there might be a cat coming in from the rain and messing with them.
There's definitely a neighbor cat that likes to come in, and I always hear them hissing and yelling at each other, but unrelated, not something we got to dive too deep into.
Oh, well, let me know. I'm here to
time to think. Do you have any thoughts for how you want to make more time to think, or is there a specific thing that you are wanting to think on?
No, I think it's this weekend. I'm just going to kind of purposefully zone in my head of work mode and see what comes up.
What do you think the most important question is that you want to focus on in your thinking time? If you were going to write it down and just turn everything off and have a question on the middle of a sheet of paper and spend an hour thinking about it, what do you think is the thought in your head that you want to spend the most time on?
What is the priority? Or actually, no, let me rephrase that. Do we have the right priorities
for Q3?
Yeah, well, not necessarily the right priorities for Q3. I think that's a good priority, but like, I think there's like 1,000 things. It's like the next layer deep of them. Like, I really like our priorities for Q3, like our main goals, but like the weekly sprints to get there is what there's just so many ways to go about it that I'm feeling stuck.
There's a lot of stuff we could be building.
That's correct.
Yeah. Let's I say we orient around the quarterly goals then and have that be the start. We'll either orient around the quarterly goals now, or we talk about what has been shipped and then get into quarterly goals. Any preference on your side?
Let's reflect on what's been shipped, because at the beginning you said you need patience and more time for what's this going on this week. So let's start there with like, what do you need more time on, and let's add that to next week's sprint so we don't jump right into like new things if you still need time on other things.
I have been plugging in Apify to just work better together for creating fans. So where it's at right now is, if I'll share screen and we'll go through a concrete demo to see if everything is working as expected. So if I go to chat.recoupable.com and I open up Supabase, Broxillion has been rolling out his French fry collab. And so if I come to him and say, scrape my latest IG posts, 1, 2, 3. Before it gets to 3 spins, we're getting streamed out text. So the responses are now way faster. That's a brand new thing.
Yeah. I've been creating a lot of new artists because of the last 2 meetings I had. And it's fun to create new artists. And I've never felt that.
How fast it is in all the components.
Yep. It's getting like to become a pleasure.
Good to hear. So the end state that I'm building out is social fans. This is a new table that has been built this week, and we currently have 120 social fans. Let me sort this by created at, so that way we can get the latest ones. Whoops, created at, descending. So today is the 11th. So there's been quite a few that have been created today. A ton that have been created today, actually. A ton. I think I shipped this last night, so most of these are probably from today. And so each one of these social fans includes an artist that's related to. This one is This Means. I don't know who this person is. This Means.
Oh, that was one of my artists I added today.
Okay, so you're adding artists and you're already getting this. And so now you have a relationship between the artist of This Means and then the fan of Miss Perp. And so anybody that has this social of this Instagram profile of This Means has access to this fan inside of Supabase. We also have the latest time that they've engaged, which is a comment on their Instagram post. Rad digging the series of swirl paintings. And so now you can sort by for an artist Instagram profile. It actually looks like all of these are fans for the same artist. So all of these are fans for that artist that you just scraped. Each of these are unique social profile, and each social is only going to be there once. So this fan of Torzan 1 is only ever going to have one record, and it'll get updated with the latest comment. And so this comment was on 10/22. We can see right there, October of last year. And you've got all these fans.
Question: Does that fan have like? Are you attached? Can that fan be attached to multiple artists if they are commenting on multiple artists? But it's only showing. But what is the comment that it shows of the most recent artist? Like what's the most recent comment that it's showing? Like.
There's the most recent comment for this relationship between artist and fan. So if the same fan is for a different artist, it's going to have a different comment that's latest because it's a different artist-fan relationship.
So it'll be a new row?
It would be a new row, right.
Got it.
And so if you wanted to see that, for example, if we took this fan of Benjamin Brett, if we took their social ID and then we filtered off of fan social ID for this person, we're probably only going to get one. But if this was a fan of multiple artists, there would be multiple rows where each row is their latest comment for each of the artists that they are a fan of.
Got it. Fire. Awesome. And then
it seems like you're the only one that has this so far. If I filter on just this artist, you're likely the first person that used it without even knowing. And if I filter on this, there's 119. So there's one that is, let me try not equal to this. There's only one that's not, and it's Broxillion, and it was added not just now. It was added at a different point in time. And so what happens is when we scrape Instagram, that gets the profile in their videos. When that finishes, we automatically, let me open up Apify to show. When scraping of the profile and the videos finishes, we then take each of those videos and then we scrape all the comments for each of those videos. Once we scrape those comments, we then, let's go into runs. And so we just scraped the profile a couple minutes ago. We spent 1 penny. Instagram profile script. No, this is getting all the, so these are the people who commented and we just scraped their profiles, but I want to go a step back. Go back to runs. Okay, so first we scraped 1 profile. This was the artist. Cost less than a penny. We scraped the artist. When that finished, it automatically kicked off scraping of the comments, and then we got 8 results of those comments. And then after that, for each of the comments, we scraped those profiles. So out of those 8 comments, some of them were repeated, and so we only got 5 unique fan profiles. And so we should have ended up with each of those comments should have gotten saved into Supabase, and I set up a rule in Supabase so that anytime a new comment is added to the database has a rule that will automatically then update the fan socials table to store those people inside of here. My question is why am I only seeing 1 fan in here for Broxillion when we got 5 results for his fans? We should have 5 rows inside of this table for Broxillion. Anthony, the producer, Fabian Villegas, Nanex, Jesse Jean, who's the collaborator on the song, and me. The only one that we have is Música W3, which is totally unrelated, none of those that I just listed. So something is not right in what I built to be able to put those in there. So there's still some edge cases, but it worked for you without you even trying. So there was something that happened. I got to figure it out. That is where I'm trying to get to, is making this table get populated automatically so that as people like you are natively and organically scraping Instagram, that trickles down to populating the comments, which trickles down, new comments would then update the fans table. All of that being done automatically with scrape an Instagram profile. What is remaining on my list, I guess now I have to debug why it didn't add the fans into here. It might be because I've already scraped these comments and only new comments are gonna have it happen. So I'm gonna try one more with an artist I know I haven't scraped. Let me try their scrape my latest IG profile, because in parallel with this, I'm also trying to reduce the duplicates of us scraping comments and scraping other things. So if a comment is already saved, it's not going to be updated. And so if we already had this comment before I shipped the shipment last night, it's not going to update. Anything in the future, anything moving forward should. And so that's why I'm testing again. Anything moving forward. But if any comments that we've already scraped are not going to trigger a fan being saved, because the comment record is not going to get updated. If we want to fix that, we can delete all the comments that we've scraped. We can totally delete the social comments table. I don't think we should do that. I think leave it and just know that any existing comments are going to work like that. And so let's go back to runs. We can see that the one single profile was scraped. It's then scraping the comments. We've scraped 90 comments so far, spending 20 cents. The initial scrape, that means that all these posts are new, because another thing I shipped is if we have any comments for any of these posts, we only get one comment. We only try to see if there's a brand new comment. We don't keep repeating the scrape. And then after we get the comments, we then try to scrape the profiles of each of those people that have commented. It looks like we're getting 34 different, at least 34. It's still going. It looks like it's actually going to go up to 60. So out of the 91 comments that Duodo had, they have 60 unique fans, unique profiles that left those comments. And so we should now, if we remove the filter, keep the sorted at. Current time is 05, so these were at 04. The artist is Duodo, And so now if I filter on Duodo for the artist social, we can see that there are 60 records, 60 fans that they have, which matches the 60 which matches the 60 profiles that we just scraped. So it seems like it is working for new things. 60 comments, 91 comments led to 60 unique profiles, and those 60 profiles are now 60 fans that we have for Duodo. And so we can now, this sets us up perfectly to be able to create segments around them. So now when I say generate segments, it pulls, okay, this is the artist, this is your active artist. I'll pull all of them. I'm going to only use their latest comment. That way we're getting the latest segment that they would be in rather than getting outdated information from them commenting on older stuff. Just the latest post so that we know what their latest type of segment that they might be in. And then we can generate segments around those latest engagements. What I would like to be doing, the reason why I said I need more time, is I was spending time getting Excelencia buttoned up today. I know I'm being long-winded about this, but Maravilla City is now updated on the homepage with his chat. I had some issues getting a pop-up, but now if you go to metadata, I still need to clean up some of the styling, but his chat's embedded right here.
Fuck yeah!
And so this triggers a new chat. You should see it inside of Telegram. And so he just launched his first song. Fenty came out today. It's his first song in this new album. And he's now going to start doing more and more with the site. And now anytime people come to the site, they have a chat that's already plugged in with all the knowledge bases that he has on Recoup. And you don't need to go to a separate page. It's part of his album rollout experience. So what I want to be doing, I need a tool to be able to get fans. I would like to be able to say here, what fans do I have? And I would like it to be able to read from Supabase to use that tool to scrape from the fan socials table. It's getting artist segments, which is, this is outdated. This is the next thing that I want to update. So the two tools that I want to, all the scraping should be done. What we just tested is that when you trigger a scrape of an Instagram profile, it saves fan socials for all the new comments and new posts. So now what I need to do is create a tool so that when I ask about my fans, Duodo can see them here because they don't have access to Supabase. So they want to be able to verify that the fans are being saved. And then two, to be able to generate segments. Half of our comment, we talked last week on Wednesday about how we wanted to associate fans with artists. And I think there's actually two layers to this. I'm glad we didn't change anything because I do still think a fan is associated with a social. A fan is their profile on that specific platform. So a fan and an artist are on a specific platform. I can be your fan on Instagram, and this is an Instagram relationship. The same artist to fan relationship could exist on TikTok and on other platforms. And so it's a fan on one social, we'll say Instagram, and an artist on one platform, Instagram. And there could be duplicate records for that same person, but a different platform. Segments, and those are going to be the same regardless. So if Steph has Duodo in their account and Duodo has Duodo in their account and I have Duodo in my account, those same fans should exist because those are on a social level.
Yeah.
Segments, I think, should exist on an artist level.
Agreed.
Because when we create segments, we're going to create segments with a prompt. Please create segments for this artist for my upcoming album. For example, for Excelencia. Give me segments based off of my latest release, Fenty. Chat should be able to go in, pull that new song that he just dropped on Spotify, pull all of the fans and all of their latest engagements, and then based off of that Spotify data and based off of the fans, create segments for the specific prompt that Excelencia just gave to group those segments. And if Steph gives a different segment prompt for Excelencia, because Steph and 1RPM, Excelencia is working with 1RPM to do this rollout. And so if Steph wants to use this as well, Excelencia and Steph can both come in here, have the same fans, have that same raw data, but then create a different subset based off of their usage. Excelencia is the artist. He might have a different desire of segments versus Steph helping Excelencia and being on the label service. She might have a different set of segments. And so what I would like more time on is to create those two tools, at least two tools. One, give me the fans so that this gives me the fans from the table, and two, segments to be able to generate segments. Now that I have all this data for the fans, now I need to think through what does the tool look like so that when I say, give me segments that'll help with merch partnerships or X, Y, and Z, and then it pulls those fans and then generates those. Those are the two things I would like more time on. The question I would like to toss to you is, Do you align with that thought of the relationship as a fan is one social fan with one social artist and is shared across every artist and every person that's using it, but a segment is specific to my account and the artist that I specifically have in here? And so if both you and I have Excelencia, the segments that you're going to have are going to be different from the segments that I have. And if I generate segments and you scrape Excelencia, you're going to have all of Excelencia's fans, but you're not going to have the same segments that I generated. What are your thoughts on that mental model for the architecture of fans and segments?
Question before I answer. What is the algorithm for generating a segment?
Currently, there's none. That's what I would like more time to be able to do now. Do you have any thoughts on what you would like the algorithm to be? Now is a great time to put that in my head for when I write this code later today.
What's your initial thought before
You're still seeing the screen?
Have my 2 cents. Yeah.
So let me open up Recoup chat. It's going to be a tool. Whoops, that was bad. Note to self, I just shared all environment variables, so I need to check what is the current time. Can you shout out the timestamp that you see on the chat?
21:28. So 21:20.
Okay, I need to go in after this and see what environment variables I just exposed, so that way I can do some key rotation.
It's probably a good idea anyways. It's been a while.
It's been a while. And another thing is I today ended the contract of 2 devs. They billed me 40 hours after shipping 2 tickets, and I paid what they billed and then said, you're way under delivering, not even worth putting you on probation. I'm not having enough time to ship because I'm spending all day reviewing code. And even though I'm spending all day reviewing their code, they're shipping 2 tickets a week and billing me 40 hours. So I ended the contract on 2. Veerball's still here and another dev on a different project. But here's our tools. Let's go into scheduled actions and create scheduled actions. As an example, I'm thinking the input parameters are going to be artist ID and prompt. Those will be the 2 input params for generating segments. So the artist ID, that way we know who to pull not artist ID. Social ID array, because fans are related to socials. It needs to call to get your socials first. If I go back to here, first it needs to pull your socials. Based off of your socials, it'll pass that info to the tool, the array of all the socials. That way the tool will then pull all of the fans, and then it'll use the prompt with whatever LLM we decide to then generate. I'm still thinking there's 2 steps. There's generating of the segment names, which is the one I'm going to focus on. And then there's grouping fans into those segment name buckets. And so I think it's going to be 2 tools. I'll focus on the first one because we haven't built either of them. The first tool is generate segment names. It has an input param of an array of socials and a prompt. Given the array of socials, pull all of the fans, and then throw all of those fans, which is going to be the handle, all their profile info from the social, and the latest comment. Then it uses the prompt. We chuck all that into an LLM, Anthropic, because that's what we have been using. Chuck it all over to Anthropic, and then Anthropic gives me back an array of segment names. We then return those segment names on the front end and say, here are the groups of segments.
Wait, you lost me. Say it one more time on the right before segment, like it gives you back the segment names. What info are you throwing to the LLM to generate segment names?
Array of social profiles and a prompt for generating the names.
Social profiles includes what is in the array?
Spotify, TikTok. The only one that we're generating fans for is Instagram, so the rest of them are going to return no fans, but it extends, the use case is already there for if and when we scrape TikTok and other places.
So the array of social profiles, in the array, what information is included in a social profile? The comment, the fan name, the bio?
It is a username, an avatar, profile URL, region, bio, follow count, following count, updated at.
We throw that in, and then it generates a segment names.
An array of strings, each of those are a name of a segment. And so
Okay.
if I ask for give me one segment, it's hopefully the LLM returns one. If it's give me specifically three, and so that should give you the prompter freedom to say, if you want to specify the number, specify the number. If you don't specify the number, let the LLM do it. If you have a specific project, but those are the two inputs, an array of artist socials and a prompt to generate the segments on. And then the output of that is an array of strings, each of which is the name of a segment. Going back to the question of what are your thoughts on what feedback do you have on the relationship between a fan is between a social on one specific platform that is shared across everybody using that artist. Segments are only for one specific profile, one specific human, and each human that has the same artist is going to have different segments or potentially not have segments that someone else has.
I'm trying to define if there should be two variations of segments. I agree with you. I agree with you on everything you're saying, and I like the algorithm. The part that I'm wondering is, I keep using the example of like Latasha's fan Joe, who commented on her. When we go and look at his profile, he's in Paris and he has pictures of his dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that, whether it's a fan segment of like dog lovers in Paris, that's like Joe's profile as a fan, less so than like the relationship that he has with Latasha, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's two, maybe it's like fan profile, which is like Joe as a person, what is his interests, his hobbies, and how does it relate to like Latasha is a separate segment. Like, so I think like I like the idea of running fans separately based on or giving the modularity of letting the LLM decide based on the prompt how to organize fans for a specific prompt. I really love that concept. Like, I'm Excellencia, I'm releasing my song, you know about my song, create fan segments around this idea. Like it's a really cool idea. My question mark is that are we also losing the opportunity to give artists a real understanding of their fan base without any additional prompting? Like, you know, going back to the original request for this feature, which was like, my artist is going to do partnerships with a sports betting company, but I don't know how many sports betting fans my artist has, and I want to go deliver that data to the partnership. How do I do it? Like, there's no other platform that allows me to give that data. So
and
like,
that's a very specific context to group the segments, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how many sports betting fans does it have? But again, like the sports betting fans, it's almost like how many fans in the table are sports betting and associated with that artist that is selected, right? Like,
right. And so in that case, you might only have two buckets: sports fans, non-sports fans for the segments.
Yeah,
but those segments are still coming from a very specific context. So do segments exist outside of a prompt to group fans in a specific context? What can segments be objectively helpful, or are segments only helpful given an input prompt of what the prompter is looking to group segments on?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's always going to have a prompt. I see what you're saying. It's always going to have a prompt, and what like, it just depends whether it's the user doing it or whether it's us in the back end prompting to figure that information out.
Because even if I just say generate segments, okay, what prompt goes in? I don't know. The LLM's going to pass in the param, or it's going to come back and ask for that prompt based off of how we build the tool. But fans are all objective. If I ask for my fans, give me that array, boom, boom, boom. I'll send you a list of 100 fans straight to your email, and it'll include their bio, the number of followers, and That's objective.
You know what? Like,
They're objective, but segments are very subjective and contextually important.
Well, I'm leaning towards the way you're doing it because it's the more modular approach and the more like the approach that sits less well with me in like what I'm used to how a dashboard would look, which is like I want to be able to look at a pie chart and see that like 4% of my fans are dog lovers in Paris, and like that's a comfort. And if then the next time I looked at the chart, I had no dog lovers in Paris, I might be like, what the fuck happened to my segments? So like that's my only concern is like the user's expectations of how they're used to getting data, which is very static, and versus. So maybe it's we save the buckets so we can access it later, so it doesn't disappear every time. Like we create the segments based on the prompt, but we're saving them so that we can use them in dashboards. And I'm trying to figure out how to, but I'm leaning towards the way go back to the mantra of the more modular, the better. We're building the agent as the interface.
In the example of we keep it, in that case, I generate my dog lovers in Paris. I come back because I'm now on a new album. A year has passed. In my mind, all those segments that you generated in the past are now out of date. The fans have changed. The artist has changed. The context has changed. The dog lovers in Paris, maybe he's no longer a dog lover. Maybe his dog died. Maybe he has a cat now. But if Sid has wanted us to keep it, so we've kept it. We generate new segments. The same fan has a new latest engagement. The fan has changed their bio. We've generated a new set of segments, but Sid didn't want us to throw out the dog lovers in Paris. And so now we have 20 segments that we're showing. And the same fan is going to be listed in the segment that we didn't delete and in the new segment. Is that information helpful to be seeing the old info and the new info and seeing and potentially thinking, wow, I have 10,000 fans, when in reality it's 5,000 fans duplicated across a legacy set of segments and the new set of segments that I just generated?
That's a great point. All right, so like let me ask this from like the perspective of you as a fan through Excelencia's career. What about you has changed, and what about you has not changed that would be valuable to Excelencia?
How much I've been sharing my relationship with him. I've been sharing his posts more on my story. I've been commenting more on his posts than I was a year ago and on his last thing. And now I'm much more actively inside of his team than on the last project. I was just kind of coming in. Now I feel like a core member of the team.
So your engagement with him has changed, which is like a good segment. Like, like diehard fans are like highly engaged. I love that. What has he changed?
I'm now posting content about him where I tag him, my own videos. Every single day, I drop a video that has @Excelencia and in the description of that video that's being released by Opus every day from the live streams that I did with him right before our call that you and I have right now.
What else has changed is you're not in Argentina anymore, right?
On my side, I'm not in Argentina. Instagram doesn't know. I don't know how any of the social platforms would know that because I haven't changed my bio.
But you've posted
about it. I don't think Instagram gives me my regions. I don't know that I've put any posts out that say Colombia in them. If it's listening to the videos and it just heard me say Colombia, but that is a deep level of analyzing fan videos that we are not doing right now.
Yeah. No. But I still think like it's a good thought experiment to say like, so even if we were to keep you as a segment of like Argentinian developer or developer in Argentina, like that data does no longer exist for you. Although you still are a dev and like you still love cats and, and so there are some core themes that I don't think are going to change. And so I guess the question is, do we need to separate those between static and active segments or not? Like what about a fan will not change? Or most likely 80% won't a chance won't change. Like their I guess it's more so, instead of segments, it's like fan identity, right? And like maybe that fan identity scrape gets stored in the fans level instead of the
Yeah.
artist level.
Yeah, that might be more like a new table in the socials. In the socials table right now we have this, and then maybe a new column of identification, and that's going to mean for all of the 324,000 socials, add a new column and put each one into an LLM, analyze this profile, all the videos that we've scraped on them, all the comments, and then fill in this column of, I don't think I want to call it a segment of, but like identification. And that's what I think you keep coming back to, of Paris influencer dog lover. That would be this column, and we would run 324,000 records into an LLM, and for each of those get a unique printout of that.
I like it. It sounds a lot more simple.
And then when we generate segments, yeah, that line of text would be included. And so in addition to these objective things like a username, avatar, profile, region, bio, follower count, following count updated at, there's a subjective generated by an LLM. This is what we think about this person, and whatever our prompt is on the back end for how we generate that text.
I like it. And then that creates the value of who is this person that's not going to change, or at least our of best efforts, it's not going to change.
So for now, keep going down the path that I'm going.
I think so.
And then if we decide we need additional ways to generate segments, we'll cross that bridge when we realize my implementation path is not good enough.
I think with this identities, your path is going to be good enough, because I agree with what everything you just said is like, what's the real value is like, is this person engaging more? What is this person commenting on? Like like what their bio is, their bio like, my bio changes all the fucking time. I'm posting different things. 1 month I'm a producer, the next month I'm a vibe coder.
Yeah, vibe. While we're here, have you paid the invoice?
Oh no, I'll do that afterwards. Okay. It will be done by today.
Yeah, no, just I saw the red, wanted to bring it up. No big, it's not blocking me right now. If the service stops for some reason, we'll know why.
Then, yeah.
So that's why I feel like I want more time, because I have not built the front end tools, but the back end is all built now. So I think at this point, the only thing I need more time for is building tools for this chat to show the fans, and then build those segments that we were just talking about.
Let's do it.
Anything else you want to talk about on that, which is what I've shipped?
Nope. I think I fucking love it. I think you're on a good path. I almost like don't want to give you anything else, because
segments was that Q1 focus, or was that Q4 of last year? I think it was Q1.
No, it was Q4 of last year, because once segments were done is when I hit the ground running in January. Yeah.
So Veerball just shipped, trying to fix so Veerball shipped, we're no longer getting 1 million pings for the first artist that's created. So that error, which I think was generating hundreds of errors per week, is gone. He also just shipped, we're now only including the latest 55 messages in a chat in the LLM, because ef.fun or ef.studio was extending a chat with 200 plus messages, and it was overwhelming the context. And I think other people like Sam were doing the same. And so now we're only taking the latest 55 messages and throwing that to an LLM. So we should also not see any more rate limit errors from people that go into the same chat that they always go into and keep extending it. Do you think 55 messages is enough, or do we need to extend that?
I think 55 messages is enough. I would love it. This is, again, just another, it's an addition to the sprint. So it only add if necessary, but at the 55th message, a small tool or a small UI pops up that says start a new chat for better results, like Cursor does. And if they click it, it summarizes the chat and then creates a new prompt, a new chat with that prompt of the summary, and like continues where they left off with like only the most important information.
55 messages pop up.
Well, like literally follow the UI of Cursor, because like they don't make it a pop-up. It's like hidden and it's below. And so it gives you it's like just like a small reminder at the bottom. Like if you want to start a new chat, click here, but it's not like, it doesn't force them to do it. So it doesn't stop their flow.
So after 55 messages includes some sort of hint on the screen that says for improved results, start a new chat. And if they click the button, we summarize, start a new chat, and then they continue.
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe that's most of it. Roman was working. Roman is one of the devs that contract just ended. He was working on adding in the YouTube button here to connect a YouTube profile. That is now a question of, is that worth continuing, or do we not prioritize it? But that's a good stopping place for overall what we've shipped this week. Do you have any questions on what we've shipped this week? Or if not,
he charged you 40 hours and didn't ship the button?
Correct.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, part of me wanted it. I've had a rough morning because I get into myself and I want to argue back and forth and negotiate it down. But ultimately, I think my decision of you build me for this, I will pay you for it, and then I'm ending the contract. He wanted that money, he got the money, but he no longer has the relationship with me, and so I feel a little bit frustrated right now. But we hire slow, we fire fast. We tried them out. He got $400, and now he's no longer on the team.
Yeah, it's a clear show of what his priorities are. Like
right,
money over delivery.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's the right choice. So then where are we at with that? Is that something that Verbal can pick up?
It's something that Verbal could pick up. Yeah, we could give him YouTube. I'll write it down on this list of YouTube button or something that he could do for next week.
Like, how are you feeling with Verbal? Like, are you feeling more comfortable being able to give him more things since you kind of let him ship? How you feeling?
He's doing great. Did you saw the message where he found a vulnerability in our storage of YouTube tokens?
Yeah.
That was brilliant. He caught that we were exposing YouTube tokens on the front end. Love that he caught that. He went and found, he was like, when I told him a bug I thought was a bug, he found a deeper reason why the bug existed. And then he decided to limit the messages to the latest 55, which also fixed the rate limiting for Anthropic. I feel like I'm able to give him tasks. He's thinking. And I think my judgment of earlier of him not understanding was actually my own fault, because I originally said, Veerbal, we got to have it a human to a YouTube token. And he kept saying, but how are we going to know the artist? And I kept pushing back on him, but ultimately he was right. And so I am finding myself incorrect, and I'm finding him raising the bar on what we're doing. I think he's doing great work. So I'm very happy with what Veerbal is doing right now. Amazing.
I mean, in that case, like, I almost want to let him. I really love the tools that he's making, the onboarding flow, and like I'm leaning more towards like letting him explore where he thinks the UI can get better, the user experience, like, like seeing what he feels. My only question is, like, has he talked to enough customers to put himself in like the shoes of somebody like, that is using the tool, like, or not? But like, I'm leaning towards like seeing like what his thoughts are around the UI and experience portion of this.
He did not do any UI stuff this week. Everything was back-end improvements he was very aligned with the same priority I had of reducing bugs. Actually, he was focused on reducing bugs, and I have been focused on the new tool with fans and Apify, like I was talking to you about. So this week he was all on bug fixes, and he did all the bugs that I haven't been fixing. But no UI stuff this week. He is in a place to be able to do bigger things. I think a great place to position him in is if we figure out what the priorities are we want to go into next week, give him one of the bigger tickets and try him again, just like we did before of trying to give him the YouTube tokens. And I ended up being incorrect and overly critical of him. Now that I'm in a much more ego-humbled position of understanding that Veerbal was right and I was incorrect, try again. And this time with the perspective that Virbal actually knows a lot about our architecture and knows a lot about the tech that we're building. What he lacks is music knowledge, direct relationship with the musicians, but on the technical side, he's definitely raising the bar. So I think when we get into next week's priorities, give me a big priority, and I would lean towards give him one of the big priorities. That way we can push out 2 things and see what he does owning a feature end to end.
Fuck yeah. All right, let's do it. With that being said, before we dive in, I just want to give you a quick update on what I did this week. I mean, I got in on Wednesday, so I had a meeting yesterday with, I had 2 meetings, great meetings. Entire screen. Give me a quick second. Which one am I here? So the first meeting was with Filterless. So Filterless was Misha. This was Misha was recommended to us by Bully Meow. So shout out to Bully for recommending Recoup. Misha was also the one that the LLM did a rogue emailing to and hit us up. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Because he didn't have an artist selected. And so it was like making up like artists and emailing people about them. So touched base with him, and really awesome guy, was understanding about the whole thing, excited to learn more into it. And he gave me his full list of artists, and the agency is not only music artists, but it's also creative directors, videographers, interior designers, experience designers. So I'm excited about this to load up his artists and kind of see how it works with his roster. What I've been doing is loading up his artists, but telling that it like, hey, that's not like it's not a music artist, so don't worry about that. So it skips the Spotify part. Valfrey is a good example. And something that I realized that I've been doing manually for this is a couple things. One is, let me see. Oh, who's the next person so I can find? Actually, let me see. Artist creation. Okay, here we go. Nice. This is fixed. So I say create a new artist. It does Valve. Oh, why did it not do?
However, it got the name of Valfrey.
Oh, it's because so a bug that I found, but it's going to get fixed because you added that new ticket from the video that I sent, is that if I'm in an artist profile that has images, when I create a new artist, it like reads the images and then associates those images with like, okay, I'll make it this artist.
Interesting.
So if the knowledge base isn't just text based, it doesn't ask me who the artist is. It assumes it's the same artist.
Is that something you're intentionally doing?
No.
Oh.
No. So like if I create a new artist right now with a Valfrey selected, watch what happens. Well, maybe it'll work, maybe not. It's a crapshoot.
Sometimes it'll create a new artist named Valfrey.
Yeah, it'll just automatically, without asking me, creating a new artist with Valfrey. But I think like if we fix the when create new artist is select, or when you do create new artist, like it doesn't select an artist. It creates a new room that's not associated with an artist, so there's no knowledge base associated. It'll help.
That was very
yes.
slow.
See, the new artist shared by illustrations, and it just assumed that I wanted to create Valfrey because I'm also including the knowledge base info.
Yeah, how long's that been a thing? I have never had that happen to me.
I mean, I think I just experienced it now, but that's because I've just been like literally creating 40 artists over the last hour, so I'm experiencing.
So it's only been today that you've been seeing it?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we just shipped something that impacted it. I'll take a look.
Okay.
So you're saying you had a meeting with this creative team with Mika?
With Misha. So that was one of the things that happened this week. I onboarded him. I'm adding his artists now. Something that I'm finding myself just manually doing, which I wanted to chat with you about the onboarding flow, is I am running an artist. Let me find one that has, here we go. Oh, see, this is another issue, is like I guess we got to fix it, but like the Mad Steezes doesn't have the recent chats. It's in the other artist. Who was the person I did before Mad Steez? Steven Sticks. And that's going to have Mad Steezes artist. All right, anyways, let me show you what happened. So I'm running Mad Steez, but because he's not a music artist, I'm saying Mad Steez and then like adding his Instagram. So, or I'm like just writing like he's not a music artist, he's like a creative director. So it kind of skips this step, which is cool. That's fine. It's manual. But then what I did is after it's all is said and done, I end up going in here, and because he's a artist, I like screenshot some like examples of his work to include. So it always has context of his like visual identity. And so I was thinking of like, is there a way that we can add that part of like add a way to scrape some kind of visual identity and store an image or 2 or 3 or whatever in the knowledge base on Create Artist. And like, what should that image be? Should it be of like the last album and or last Instagram image? And or like what should the image be that's stored that like is most likely to be like the best representation of like the artist's current visual world? But I'm doing it manually for now, so just another thought of like how to enhance Create New Artist. And then the other
things don't scale. As you start to observe patterns, you'll be able to give me a more clear direction on how are you consistently doing it. Because the more monotonous and repetitive it is, the more likely we can build an algorithm around it.
Yeah. The other thing I'm doing, I'll show you the other thing that I did, which is, oh no, I'm gonna have 2. Let me delete this before I forget.
The delete button works.
Delete button works.
Nice.
The other one was Peanut Butter Friends. So Peanut Butter Friends is Latasha's management. They're awesome too.
PEA.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Jeez. What do you think about my browser? Huh?
I don't know what browser. It looks like a normal browser.
Comet.
Oh, so you're using Perplexities?
It does this. It has like this quick tool, summarize the current web page.
You have to pay for their pro version, right?
Yeah, it's like the $200 version, but I like got it for this month to test. That fucking onboarding experience was so fucking fire. Their branding is so good.
They did good.
Oh, it was just beautiful. It just made me want to use the tool. It was just so gorgeous. Like, okay. Anyways, so they're a creative agency, have a bunch of awesome artists. So I'm onboarding.
Seeing Latasha on here.
I think it's because it's clients. Let me see. Yeah,
there she is. Okay, front and center.
Yeah. So yeah, they have a bunch of cool artists, and they do a lot of social media management too. So I'm excited because the social media manager was on there, and they also have a director of brand partnerships that they're looping in. So like they're bringing in like multiple people that like we have agents that can like help. So I'm going to onboard them and then send them all of the info. But what I did with them is I added all of their artists, and then I also added an account for their label. And then in this account for their label, I did like a scrape, but I also added like a bunch of screenshots from their deck on their website. So like it has references of how their style guide is. And then I tried the thing that I sent you where I had it. Let me show where am I? I created a brand style guide. So like I uploaded the PDF. We don't do PDFs, by the way. So I had to do this in Chat GPT. But I uploaded the PDF and then asked it to create a brand style guide JSON file that I can use as a template. So I have this in their knowledge base. I'm going to see how much, if it makes the images and yeah, all the images or emails like more on brand for them. So I'll let you know how that goes. but those are the two big things that I did yesterday. And I'm right now this week or the rest of this day, I'm just finishing uploading all of these artists. And I think it's at the end of the day going to be, I think each one has like 40 artists, or 20 to 30 artists. So like, it's going to be an awesome amount of new artists to see. And that's my update.
We have just crossed the hour mark.
Do you want to get into next week real quick?
Let's extend 15 minutes to talk about next week.
Amazing. What are your feelings for next week?
If segments are important, keep me focused on segments.
Agreed.
If they're not important, let me see what I get done today, and then it stays 80% done today, and we focus on something that's more important next week.
No,
what is
segments,
more important than
segments
next? Okay. So I think keep me on segments. Either we add more definition to that, or we talk about what the biggest task is that we want to potentially give to Veerball.
I want to talk about Veerball, keep you on whatever you're doing with segments. I just want to give you the reinforce the reason why they're important. Steph, who is one of our power users and like that top echelon of user, still uses segments.
Yep.
So she still gets value from them. The second thing is Sam, who is another power user, also requested segments as his top request in parallel with TikTok.
Right.
So those were his two requests. So segments is really important, and getting it right is really important, and it's going to add immediate value to the two people we care about most. And then let's talk Veerball. What do you think?
Things that we wrote on Wednesday, multi-LLM, in my mind, deprioritized now that rate limit should be fixed. New artist ends with YouTube login for the research. Payments, queues for scheduled actions, potentially still important queues, because the scheduled actions, I didn't check today if they're getting errors, but maybe they're working fine now. Fan segments is what I'll be working on. And then we had Chill Pill's album of distribution, promotion, home base for all assets, clients, music gen. When I'm reading through this site, if it's going to be a net new thing, either try to get YouTube wrapped up and build in the last couple things of YouTube login, add the button that Roman had in process, and also update what you said about the artist research and have a YouTube login at the end, and then have him do little cleanup things like these other bugs, or alternatively keep YouTube where it's at, because it's pretty much there.
No, I think
it's not there. There's actually still a lot more to do on YouTube. We're still not verified. So we can either, I think, put them on a client, either YouTube, get YouTube from 60% done to 80/90% done.
Yes.
Or put them onto something new like TikTok or Instagram client or music generation.
I think YouTube. Let's wrap. Let's keep wrapping. Like let's not stop halfway there. Like these are features that are requested by Steph is YouTube.
Yep.
Segments is Steph is segments.
Steph is both segments and YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's like the small little cleanup things like the artist and the bug stuff. That's cool. And then I think like if he finishes YouTube and all the little cleanups and like wants to start TikTok, I think that's like his B, you know.
Mm-hmm. So overall weekly goals: 1, segments, that's me; 2, YouTube, that's Veerball; and then 3 becomes TikTok.
What do you think is more important, him starting TikTok or him doing bug cleanup UI improvements?
I think giving him YouTube and bug improvements keeps us stable so that we're not overextending. I wasn't aware of the create artist is hallucinating the name. YouTube is still
So then remove TikTok. We'll do that after. Let's get segments and YouTube.
Totally get rid of TikTok for now. Let's keep us in a stable place. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. the question in my mind is, what are we measuring on both of those to measure success of next week? If we're focusing on YouTube and segments, what are we measuring for each of those to prove whether or not they are successful or not?
I love this question.
On
So,
YouTube, no warning on login is one measurement of success in my mind. Because we're not verified. That is a scary thing that makes people not trust us. We're not going to have people. I mean, I guess that can be an intermediary to the actual thing, which is number of YouTube accounts connected.
Correct. I think that's the measurement of success.
Number of YouTube accounts connected.
Exactly. And like the blockers of that is, one, getting the tool working and the button in. Two is make sure that there's no scary fucking warning.
Right.
And then three is anything that he can add to the experience of already connected users to remind them that, hey, there's this new thing that, like, whether it's a pop-up, whether it's I'll send my email, obviously, and I'll try to update outside of the app, but anything that he can do to enhance to hit his target of X amount of YouTubes connected. Sweet.
So on YouTube side, the measurement that we will be tracking over the next 7 days at a minimum is number of YouTube accounts connected. I can get a number for that that's going to be reading from the table YouTube tokens. So we'll get a reading on that today to get how many rows. Actually, I have it right now. The current number is 16. So we currently have 16 connected YouTube accounts. We want to get that as high as we can. And then
is it 16 connected? Is it 16 connected, but are the emails associated? They're dev emails? Or maybe Steph's connected one during like the
Steph has connected one, and then most of them are likely me in other internal testing, linking them to an artist.
Okay, so what I'll do is next week, I'll build out the admin dashboard or the filter for the admin dashboard to be able to sort by YouTube's connected, and I'll filter out dev emails. So we'll be able to see how many YouTube are connected. By the end of the week, how many YouTubes are connected that are not, like, that are actual real users.
Yep. Okay. So is that a filter we want to put on that metric? Number of YouTube accounts connected to non-dev emails?
Correct.
Copy. I mean, I guess that's going to be the case with any of the metrics we're doing, right?
Yes. And I would challenge Verbal to come up with the success number, not me or you. Like let him
measure or the specific number we're trying to hit.
The specific number we're trying to hit. Let him see how, let him look at the admin dashboard and see how many weekly active users we have. And then let him decide, based on the amount of weekly active users, how many of them does he want to connect to YouTube? That'll give him complete full ownership over the ship, which I love.
Cool. Anything else on the YouTube side for getting that measurement, which is my responsibility? Or are you happy with the measurement is number of YouTube accounts connected, and we'll get a specific number that Virbal wants to shoot for from his mouth?
I'm happy.
Okay. On segment side, on Wednesday, we had talked about two different metrics, either the number of socials with a non-zero number of segments or number of scheduled actions related to segments. I am leaning towards the latter of number of scheduled actions related to segments, because in order for them to set up a scheduled action, they need to have segments. So if we focus on the latter of the number of scheduled actions, that will automatically increase the number of segments that are being generated.
Say that one more time.
On Wednesday, we had said two different metrics. The original one that I came up with is the number of socials that have a non-zero number of segments, easy to query inside of Supabase, or the other is number of scheduled actions related to segments. I'm leaning towards the latter now of number of scheduled actions related to segments, because if someone is setting up a scheduled action relating to segments, they must first have a non-zero number of segments. So if we only focus on the latter of number of scheduled actions, we will intrinsically increase the number of socials with non-zero number of segments.
I really like it. it's a challenge because the majority of that, or in my opinion, a lot of it falls to how do you educate the user to set up segments with scheduled actions, right?
Mhm.
Like they're not naturally going to do it. Like they may naturally, actually no. So like yeah, you're right, because the reason why we came up with the scheduled actions plus segments metric was because without scheduled actions, it removes the enhancement towards daily active users. And like,
Exactly. It gets me closer to power users
yeah.
because it's automatic. They don't have to worry about manually prompting it.
So yeah, I like it. So then I'll step back and you have a metric, set the goal of what that number looks like, what success looks like, and then like reverse engineer how do you get the users to do what you want them to do.
So the specific table we will be measuring from on the YouTube side is the YouTube tokens table. So you building out the dashboard, or if I'm writing out the dashboard, the
I'll
YouTube
build
tokens table is specifically the table that we will be querying for our YouTube goal of the number of YouTube accounts connected. On my side, for the number of segments, the question is, do we use the existing? No, the table that I would like to be measuring from is the scheduled actions table, which you're already pulling from in the founder's dashboard. And I don't know if you're reading inside of the prompt, but how I'm thinking of measuring this is one, read from the scheduled actions table. And inside of the prompt column, if it includes the word segments, that counts towards the goal. So if any of the scheduled actions includes the word segments in your dashboard, you're already pulling the records. The additional filter is inside of the prompt column. If it includes the word segments, that counts towards the goal. And so that makes it, we can build a graph around that. We can build charts and numbers around that. What are your thoughts around both of those measurements of tables? YouTube tokens, segments, scheduled actions, filtered on prompts that include the word segments.
I love it. And I'll build those too. That'll be me next week. So you guys focus on building the tools. I'll focus on building the way to measure it. This is exactly what we need to, is you telling me what are the requirements to build the tool or to build the tracking. YouTube is YouTube.
I'll share screens so that, well, no, because
No,
it's
cool.
database and exposing. Cool.
YouTube tokens, I got that. And then scheduled actions with the prompt includes segments. And then we just need to figure out what success looks like. And then I can like add that to what are the two metrics of success.
Do you have any questions on the queries you'll be building, or do you have what else do you need in order to properly track the goals that we just talked about, so that we can share the screen next week on your founder's dashboard and see how we performed?
I don't think the only thing I'm missing is the metric of success.
The specific number?
Specific number.
The sooner you can build that, I would love for the scheduled actions one. I'd love a baseline. I have a feeling it's less than one.
I would start, but both of them are going to be pretty much at zero because we haven't announced the feature yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the only you'll have one because of me, but then my email address is connected. So like
your dev account, yeah.
Yeah, but I would also like compare it to like who our weekly active users are over the last 7 days. So it's a realistic number.
I'd love 11 specific accounts on mine. I was originally going to say 5, and so I want to double it to 10 and then make it an angel number for 11. 11 humans, 11 unique accounts, and if each of them have 3 scheduled actions related, that would be 33 total. And so let's double that. I don't like 6, so we'll go 50. We'll go higher and go to 77. So let's go to 77 actions that are about segments.
Whoa,
from 11 unique humans.
You're going real fast. 11 users.
11 unique humans.
Schedule actions that include the word segment in the prompt.
Correct.
Where are you getting 77 and 66 from?
77 being the total number of actions. So if Sam has 5 scheduled actions related to segments, I'm envisioning 77 across people.
Oh, I'm thinking 11.
So 11 unique humans, but 77 total actions. So across the table, across all humans, 77 total.
So you want each human to do multiple scheduled segments.
Correct.
Why would they do multiple? What would be their after they've scheduled a segment for one, like scheduled one scheduled segment, unless it's for multiple artists?
Right. It could be for multiple artists inside of that. Could be for different campaigns, different usages like image generation versus outreach. They could use segments in a bunch of different contexts in their job. Sam might use segments for finding the reels that I should be making today. He might also use the segments to generate an image, and he might also use the segments to find a brand that we should be outreaching for a specific musician's tour. And he might do that across 5 different artists. Now we have 15 scheduled actions for Sam, all related to segments.
So success to you is
at least 11 humans.
Schedule multiple segments. Scheduled actions with multiple segments for various reasons, for whatever reasons they want. But like,
correct.
Cool. I love it. That's a huge fucking target goal. I was gonna just say 11, but you took it one step further. But I mean,
in the clouds.
I mean, I love it because it force functions you to think about how the fuck am I going to tell the users that they can do this. And that's our biggest problem right now is everybody knows, like, our tool's so fucking awesome. Nobody knows how to use it. So how do we get them to use it? And then, and then just ask for ball. How many YouTube tokens
can we hit?
Let's also actually wait. I want to talk real. I know how much is it? It's 301. I just want to be conscious of like the realisticness of like by next Friday, like when do we want to measure to hit success by? Because like by next Friday, if we release the fucking tool and finish it up by next Friday, it's going to be really different. Like there's no way you're going to hit 77 the same day you release it. So like, is it like, do we like set these dates, finish, and then like come back a week later and review how's the success metric doing?
I think we shoot for the stars and land in the clouds. We do our best to hit these in the next 7 days. If we don't, we will at least have tracked. We'll have all the tracking in place. We will have those numbers. We will have worked towards it. I think it's like the first thing that came into mind is Elon announcing a rocket launch. You announce a very ambitious date. You never hit that date and you always have to reschedule it, but at least you are working hard to approach ambitious goals.
I like it. All right. 11 accounts, 77 actions.
Yep.
I'm going to call them segment actions for the time being. Segment.
Love it.
And that's fire. And then you'll talk to Verbal about what his number is and give him that ownership. I will build these tools. The other tool I'm going to build next week is amount of agents clicked so that we can then start to track which agents are people using and how do we improve that UI. Because I found myself during demos, like going to it and then not knowing which one to click, like me being intimidated, and I've seen it 1,000 times.
Going back to when we talked about the database structure before, which option are you leaning towards for building it out? Are you concerned about how much we're spending on database? That will determine, I think, how we want to structure what you're about to build. We have an outstanding balance on Supabase. That might just be negligence on paid.
It's just negligence. We're good. Let's continue.
In that case, you were originally thinking every time an agent button is clicked, a new row is added to a new table. I was originally thinking let's extend the existing agents table and just include a count. Your thought was, no, we should have each time it's clicked, it adds a new row. That way you know who clicked it, when did they click it, more than just the total count. If you're not concerned about the price, I would lean towards your suggestion and make a new table of agent clicks. And then each time an agent button is clicked, put a new record in there. That way you have very high resolution data on these agent clicks.
Well, do I need a new table, or could I just build a dashboard that scrapes build a dashboard that scrape. I mean, I'm already pulling all messages and then just parse it by like if the initial message is X and the user is Y, and like just start to like arrange it that way. We already have all of the data, right? Like
your suggestion's a looser connection. If you could build it that way, if the text changes in one of your prompts, if you start to see something's going low and you change the text, your method of measuring then falls short because the prompt is changed. You're filtering on the prompt. If the prompt for an agent changes, it, if you make a new table, you're going to have a foreign key to the agent. And so it doesn't matter what the text is. It's linked on an ID of an agent. And so you can be tweaking the agents, the text, the prompts based off of how different ones are performing. And that link is always there. If you want to just filter on messages, that'll work. And that will also reduce our costs because then we're not making another table like you were saying.
So just thinking about short-term, long-term, like what are we tracking and why? I see what you're saying. Like creating the table will allow us to begin tweaking. I think I might
robust measurement.
I think I might start with just parsing
messages
by messages and like and then like kind of creating a connection like that way. But
no new table. It's faster build.
Yeah, exactly. If we get to a point when we start changing the prompts more often, then I'll create the table because I see what you're saying.
And also your query is going to be massive. How many messages do we have? And if you want to display a number beside each one, like let's say you want to say, I want to know which agent is being triggered the most. In order to know that, you have to query every single message that has been sent in our database, or at least the first message of every single conversation. Check that against the agent to be able to get a count. And if you're getting that count, so you're going to, every single time you want to query how many agents are being run, you're getting every single message that has ever been sent in our database, which I have a feeling is going to slow down the loading of your founder's dashboard. But build it out. I don't want to throw friction in your path. If you know, like you're operating right now on lowest lift. You're already getting your messages. Use those. If you hit a wall, move forward. What I don't want to do is throw fear in your mind and we move out of fear instead of you. I love that you're operating off of a lean mindset. I love that we've switched. Originally, you were wanting to make a new table and I was trying to keep us leaner, and now I'm suggesting a table and you're trying to keep us lean.
You know, that's what Kiyosaki. Fucking, wax on, wax off, bro. Awesome. All right, cool. I appreciate you staying longer. I appreciate you doing segments and keeping focused on it, because I would have done 1,000 more things. But again, going back to users, the important users are asking for segments and asking for YouTube. Let's give it to them. Let's not get distracted by the more fun things.
Take us home.
Oh, okay. If you stuck around this long, make sure you like and subscribe, share this, retweet it. If you're interested in trying agentic tools for artists and labels and visual artists and managers and people in the music and entertainment industry, hit us up. We have a beta seat available for one viewer. So DM Sweets and you get a free month. Or retweet this and maybe your friend wants it, the seat. So thanks for watching and signing off. That was Recoup's